Morning. Happy New Year. It's 2026. I can't believe it. I feel like I blinked and this entire 2025 just went by so quick. I'm over here thinking about things today, and it's like I love coming out here before there's a lot of people around, before there's airplanes flying around me. Small window in the day, but it's worth it nevertheless. And I just love to reflect on things. I've talked about reflections a lot in my videos and looking back on things. And I think that when 2025 comes to an end, just like anything else, any other year, I can't help but reflect and look back at my life and the things that I've set out to do, what I've accomplished, and maybe where I fell short, and how my plans have sometimes pivoted too. It's interesting, right? I mean, I think when we start off a new year, we always think we know what that year is going to hold. But the funny thing is that by the year end, a lot of our goals change because we change and circumstances in life happen to us that we couldn't have foresaw no matter what we try to do. When I think back to this year, I had a goal of wanting to start YouTube and actually do it. I thought about it for a long time, but I never did it. And so I can look at myself right now and be like, well, I'm down on myself because I don't have 100,000 subscribers yet. Or I can look at my situation and be like, I'm proud of starting. I'm proud of starting the channel that I told myself I wanted to do for so long and keeping with it. And while I don't have 100,000 subscribers, a million subscribers, I started and I stayed consistent and I made steps towards where I wanted to be. The direction I'm going in right now is not something that I would have thought of when I first started. And I'm sure that by the end of 2026, this channel will look even different than it does now. I can't predict that. All I can do is go with the flow, stay consistent, and see what starts to appeal to me as I go on. I think if anything else, I can look as an example of this YouTube channel as things maybe that I didn't accomplish, or I can look at it as a way for making progress and being able to impact certain people's lives that have reached out to me quietly, or maybe made comments on my videos too. That's what really matters to me. It's the impact on others, right? It's not just with this YouTube channel. It's like this in life. I love making impact on other people. And I think if anything else, it's really about maybe not making impact on other people for you, but it's about looking at your own goals and reflecting and thinking like what it is you want to do. 2025 was a hard year for so many people, including myself. But difficult years sometimes I think are what we need is a reset because it makes us take a step back and reevaluate our lives for the better or worse and understand we want to change moving forward. In 2026, if you had a 2025 that was really difficult, is a chance to go ahead and change and write the new slate there. While it's just a date and it's more of a symbolic thing, I get that. I like to think of 2025 as kind of like being a chapter in a book that you close. And once it's done, you take that and you put that book on your shelf. And so, yeah, it's a symbolic day, but if anything else, I feel like it's a no way to be able to take a new book off that shelf that says 2026 with all blank pages. So just because your 2025 may not have been the best doesn't mean you can't write an entirely new chapter that goes into the series of your life right here. It looks completely different. The easy thing to really do is sometimes to look at what we wanted to accomplish and beat ourselves up for things maybe we didn't get perfect or we didn't get exactly what we wanted. But the hard thing sometimes to do, ironically, is to look back and be proud of ourselves for the things that we did do. So what I started doing now at the end of the year is instead of just reflecting back on the things that I didn't get, I try to also reflect back and make sure that I promise to give myself 3 things that I'm proud of myself for doing. So when I think back to 2025, instead of looking at the bad things, the things that I'm proud of myself for doing, we're starting this YouTube channel and staying consistent. Earlier, I also did something I never thought I would do in my life, and I enrolled myself in therapy earlier this year. I'm working a lot on myself and kind of, uprooting some of these deep-seated things that I've neglected most of my life so that I can get back to a person that I'm proud of, feeling really good about that. And the third thing I would say is that I've reached out to a lot of people that I've neglected some of my friendships and some of my connections with people over the years. And I've tried to be more present about that because when I look back, I thought, I haven't really been holding up my end of this and I haven't reached out and checked on people as much as I should have. So those 3 things may not be the biggest things in the world. It may not be moving mountains, but I can tell you that I'm proud of myself for doing those because those are steps forward in the right direction for what I want to be. So when you look back at your life, don't just look at your 2025 and say that was the worst year of my life if that's something that happened to you. Look back and try to find the things that you did well, even ever so small that you might think, and be proud of yourself for those too. I would be proud of you. If I knew you personally now, if I was sitting here talking to you one-on-one, I would tell you that I'm proud of you for taking the steps that you have, no matter how small they were. But the ironic thing is that when we look at ourselves, we're our own worst critics. So when I look at myself, I say, oh, this is what I didn't do. But if I looked at someone else, I'd say, this is what you did do. So treat yourself like you're talking to someone else, like you're talking to a friend or a family member or a loved one. And give yourself the same graciousness and kindness that you would to somebody else. I think if anything else, that's the one thing I want you to take away from this video because it's important. We not only need to be kinder to ourselves, we need to be kinder to everybody in society. A little bit of kindness goes a long way. I'm not the one that invented that saying, but I am the one that's pushing it out there because I feel like it holds to be true. It's a beautiful morning out here. And before the sun comes up, I have this time to go ahead and think about everything too. And while you may be watching this video during the day, I hope that this can at least kind of take you out of things that you're at right now. Maybe that's traffic, maybe that's a busy work environment, maybe that's a busy household, whatever it may be. But I hope this gives you a little bit of a space to kind of detach for that for a second, just to give yourself a few minutes in the day to think back at things in a positive way. Every single one of us does great things in our lives. We just don't always think that we're doing great things. And life is this interesting thing where you go through some of the most difficult moments when you're not prepared for it, and you get some of the best blessings when you're not prepared for it either. In some types of funny ways, I feel like I've started to get a lot more blessings here recently, even though this year was difficult in its own way. And while I'm going to wait a little bit of time to talk about that in my life and expand upon what some of those lessons are, I can start to kind of see the trends changing and moving in a positive direction, which is something that if you asked me a few months ago, I don't know if I would have said this even possible. A good mindset goes a long way. And while I know this is really hard to hold up, you're not alone. And this is a lot of times why I make the content I do, because I'm a person that grew up and I felt like I was completely alone. Like I didn't have support or anybody that cared about me and things. And I think some people are fortunate to be in communities where there's a lot of people around you. I think other people are maybe not as fortunate, and they're somewhere where they're not surrounded by a lot of people, and the real form of connection they can get is over the internet. So I hope that if you're one of those people that feels like you're alone, that doesn't have support, and maybe this is a difficult year, and you wish you just got someone in your corner that gets it, I get it as much as I possibly can without sitting here personally talking to you. And you're never alone. If you're watching a channel like this, you're never alone. You know, my goal is to make sure that you never feel like that. Instead, I want you to understand that you can do anything you put your mind to. And this is a fresh slate to go ahead and change that. Set some goals and understand where it's going to take you in your life and how this relates to where you want to be as a person. There is no right or wrong answer. The thing is that I can't stand is when people around you tell you what you should or shouldn't do with your life. It's your life. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel fulfilled, is things that you should do for you, not for other people. It took me a long time to understand that in my life, but at this point, it is one of my principles that I will not change for anybody. If you take time in your day to watch a video like this, it tells me one thing. You care about yourself, and you care about changing, you care about improving, you care about moving forward and doing the right things for you in your life. Otherwise, I think you would have clicked off a while ago. Hold your head up high. It's going to be all right. And if 2025 wasn't the best year of your life, I have a good feeling 2026 is going to be the one instead. You know, it's kind of funny in some ways. I have no idea what's going to happen with this channel by the end of the year. I may pivot 3-4 times. I may double down on what I'm doing. I don't know. Recently been kind of getting into like some cinematic filming and things like that, so teaching myself. But the whole point is to not know exactly where you're going to end up. The whole point is to take the first step on that journey and to enjoy the ride. That's what matters the most at the end of the day. So I hope this helped. Take care. Happy New Year to you and your family. See y'all in the next one. Appreciate you rocking.